Welcome back to a very exciting video. This is definitely, if not my favorite, one of my favorite videos that I film every year, and that is planting my cut flower garden. I'm so excited. I actually was not anticipating planting it today, which right now I believe it's like April 20th or somewhere around there, April 21st, 22nd. I was talking to my grandmother last night, and she and my grandpa have had a garden for literally forever, and they are truly professionals. And she was like, go ahead and plant them, like the soil is warm enough. And actually my grandpa let me borrow his soil tester, which is this thing, and it basically tests your soil temperature and pH. And so I used this on my garden beds earlier, and the pH was slightly less than 7. For the most part, it was like 6.5 to 7. And then for temperature, I live in the US, so we use Fahrenheit. It was like 75-ish for all the beds. So that is great. I feel like that is warm enough to plant. And my grandpa was saying how like the ground is warmer than the low temps right now. He's like, the temperature is not getting low enough to actually cause it to affect the ground temps really. And so that was all I needed to hear to have an excuse to plant my garden today, because I was already planning on filming today, so it turned out perfectly. I shared a little haul over on my TikTok of the seeds that I got from Dollar Tree, but I wanted to share with you guys the seeds that I'm planting out there. And last year I had a lot of seeds. I had a lot of flowers out there, and I harvested a bunch of zinnias, cosmos, and marigold seeds, and so I'll show you guys those. Basically just everything we're gonna plant. But first I wanted to talk about what we have going on out there right now and what I did this past weekend. So I made a TikTok of this. If you're curious, you can go watch that. But basically what I had done this past weekend is, so I have 4 raised beds out there in our backyard with 2 trellises in between each of the beds. And so I'll show you guys what it looks like if this is your first time at my channel. But basically 2 years ago in 2024, I started my cut flower garden, and a lot of you guys found me from that video, which was crazy, and over on Instagram and TikTok. From there, I definitely learned a lot that first year of like what works here, what doesn't. I had some trial and error with different soils that I used, different placement in my yard, and so it was a learning curve for sure. I feel like a lot of people say that, oh, zinnias are so easy, you just throw them out and plant them, but that was not my experience. I feel like they do require nutrients, and so anyway, I'll talk about like what I've done to my beds and everything. But basically I have those 4 beds out there, so what I'm planning on doing is doing fully wildflowers in one of them. I have like a wildflower mix I'm going to plant and throw in some of my harvested seeds from last year in that one. And then I think I'm going to do a combined zinnia and cosmos flower bed, and then I'm going to do 1 fully zinnias and 1 fully cosmos. I'm not planting any vegetables. Last year I had 1 veggie bed, and I mean it did pretty good, but I just personally like flowers better. I'd rather have another bed of flowers. So that is what we're doing. And I basically went out there Saturday, and it's last Saturday that I'm not working for literally months, so I was just taking full advantage of it. We got some more soil. I have used the Miracle-Gro garden bed soil prior, and I didn't love it. I feel like I didn't have a great experience with it. And I've also used, I think it's called like Evergreen, but I'll have to double check. I'll double check and put the actual name right here. But it was like a topsoil and compost brand, and I feel like my plants did not do well in that. They kind of suffered, and I had to keep like adding fertilizer and all this stuff, and it just was really rough. I've had great experience with the garden, or the Miracle-Gro in-ground soil in the green bags. I'll put a picture of it here. So that is what we got for the ones back there. I basically just wanted to add a little bit of soil in each one, and so in each bed I added 1 bag, but in one of the beds I actually added 4 bags because it was my veggie garden and it just didn't have a lot of soil in it to begin with, and so it had settled and it just needed a little bit more for depth for like the roots growing and everything. So I added those, I mixed them in, I like pulled out all the weeds and the sticks and stuff from last year from where my flowers had died, and then I added in some coffee grounds. So we have our espresso machine back here and a little Tupperware thing next to it, and so basically the entire past like 8 months, I've been saving our coffee grounds to add to my garden beds because they're a great source of nitrogen, and this is used coffee grounds. And so I added a bunch of, basically all of the coffee grounds that we had saved to the beds, and I also added some fertilizer just to add some nutrients from where like the soil just breaks down over time and it just kind of washes away and you need to add back in nutrients to it. So I'll put the fertilizer that I used right here. I've used it all last year and it was really great. I actually fully ran out, so I need to grab some more. So that's kind of what I did to prep the beds. So they are ready for planting. And now I'm going to show you, so I did get this from Dollar Tree, which I thought was really cute. So we're going to add that out there into one of the beds. And then also, this was my Dollar Tree haul. I'm really excited about these zinnias. I got these candy cane zinnias. They are a beautiful variety, and I was really shocked that Dollar Tree had them. I got these nasturtium. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I think these are a vining plant. They're edible and have a peppery taste of watercress. That's so interesting. So I would love to plant these and maybe train them on the trellis. I got some sunflowers, and I only grew a couple sunflowers in my beds last year, but I would love to grow those in the wildflower beds at the back. This is a leftover sunflowers blend that I had from last year. I guess I just never used it. Then I also got these, got these morning glories, and I know what people say about morning glory. I love morning glory. I think they're beautiful. I would love to grow these on my trellis. And so I think what I'm going to do is, instead of planting them right now, I'm going to soak these in water and plant them once they start to sprout, which will probably be like a day or two. To speed germination, nick seeds and soak overnight in warm water. I'm not going to do anything to them except just put them in a glass of water. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then I'll show you guys the rest of the seeds that we're going to plant. Here are my morning glory seeds. Some of them floated, so I like pushed it down so it would go down. So that is what we have for morning glory, and I'll plant those in a few days. These are all of the zinnia seeds that I harvested from my garden, my zinnias last year. And so I'm probably not going to plant all of these. I mean, this is so many. I'm definitely going to give a couple, or give some to one of my friends. I also have these marigold seeds that I harvested from my marigolds. I have these zinnias, California Giants, which are great. And I think these are from Amazon, so I'll probably throw some of those in. And I have these cosmos. These are a blend of all the colors of cosmos, and so I love these. This is a wildflower blend. I actually had one that was a wedding favor, mixed some seeds in that my friend gave me as like a little goodie bag, and they were wildflower seeds too. So this is a wildflower blend, and I'll probably throw, like I said, some of the other types that I have in with those. These are cosmos seeds that I saved from last year. I have so many of these. It's crazy. Thousands probably in there. And then these are a bunch of random sunflower seeds. So I don't know if I'll plant these because I just don't really have a great place and they take up a ton of like root space. But that is the plan. And I don't think I'm going to plant any of the things that are in here because I have some beans and peas and poppies. I did plant some poppies earlier this year, but I'm wondering, they never really sprouted. I saw a few sprouts, but they didn't do super well. So I'm wondering if they will sprout next year. Like, we'll see, because they'll already be in the ground. So that is the plan. I'm super excited. So let's go ahead and head outside and we will get to planting. I will show you guys my beds in a second, but we did build all of the beds, and these are some that we just made for my friend. They're stacked on each other. But if you guys want to know how to make these, we make them out of fence planks, and they're super cheap. They're less than $30 each. It's cedar, so it's really good quality, weather resistant. I have a video on exactly how to make all of that, so I'll link that down below. Okay, I'm standing out here in my cut flower garden, my raised beds. So I have these four, and then the two trellises that you see, we just use cattle panel for that. I also have a video on that on my TikTok if you're curious. Right here, I have some yarrow growing, which is very, very beautiful, and I'm really excited for it because I bought it as a tiny, tiny little start from Facebook Marketplace, and it survived the winter and it's thriving now. It's spread out, which is really fun, so I'm excited. I also, these glasses are polarized, so I can like not see my screen. I don't know if it's focused, but hopefully it is. So I am thinking of, I don't know how tall yarrow gets, and it's in full sun, but I really don't know much about it. I don't want to plant cosmos and zinnias and they block it, but I think I'm just gonna do it anyway because that's what I did last year and it was fine. I planted cosmos in that bed and it still survived, so that is what I'm gonna do. And so I think in this far one over here, I'm gonna do the combo of zinnias and cosmos. And then in this one over here, the far one, I'm gonna keep that as my wildflower bed because that's what it was last year. And then in this front one right here, I think I'm gonna do zinnias there and then cosmos here because last year I did cosmos. Basically, I'm keeping those three the same, and then this one is gonna be zinnias. So I'm really excited. Let's get to planting. I'm starting with this back bed and I'm going to add in these wildflower seeds. It's really just a mixture of a bunch of stuff. I honestly don't even know what all is in here. Camera cut off because it was a little too hot out here. It's not even that hot, it's like 75, but I just watered that bed. It's been really dry here. We're in the middle of a drought actually. My soil is really dry, so I'm gonna have to make sure to keep these babies watered and fed so they can germinate. The next one we're gonna do is this one in front of that, and this one's gonna be just fully zinnias. I think I'm just gonna like mix them all up and see, because I think it'd be more fun to like have different varieties throughout rather than just like the candy cane on one side and then the other ones on the other side. So I'm just gonna kind of mix them up and mix up the ones that I gathered from my seeds or from my zinnias last year and the ones I already had, the California Giants, and then also the candy cane. Just see what happens. Okay, I had to switch to my other camera because my other one just kept overheating for some reason, but I am going to go ahead and plant our zinnias right here in this bed. In this one right here, I'm going to be doing half zinnias and half cosmos. So I'm just going to do the same thing I did before and use some of my zinnia seeds and then some of these in my left hand actually grew from these. And then same thing for the cosmos. I'll use some of the crazy blend and then some of the ones that I harvested from last year. And I actually forgot to plant sunflowers in this bed, so I think I'll plant those next. And then at the end, I am going to plant in my final bed all cosmos. And then also I was thinking by the yarrow, it might be pretty to plant some marigolds and just have that as like a marigold section. So I think I'm gonna do that, and I think that would be beautiful. So that's what we're gonna do next. I'll meet up with you guys after we are finished planting. I'm also gonna plant this right there. The way that this second, I'm forgetting the order that I planted in, But this bed right here literally had an entire ant colony in it. I know this may be controversial, but I don't want ants fully making a colony out of my garden bed, so I did spray them. And I realized I ended up spraying all around here because I realized usually ant beds around here are red, and I've never really thought about this, but in South Carolina we have clay soil, so I'm wondering if that's why they're red. And right here I noticed it was just kind of like soily, like dark, and I think the ants were using my soil to make their anthill, which is crazy. But I noticed I got a bunch of ant bites on my hand, and then I noticed, you probably can't see them, but they were all going through this area, and that's pretty crazy because I just redid these beds like 3 days ago or 4 days ago, so, and there were no ants to be seen then. So they really go hard, and hopefully they find a new place that is not here. But I don't want to spray too much around the bed because of our puppy. I just don't want him to like get anywhere near that. That was kind of crazy. But I'm going to plant the sunflowers now over there. These are a short variety, so I'm going to plant these, and then these are mixed, but it says 4.5 feet, so I'm gonna plant them on the edge over here. I'm not gonna plant all of them, just because this is where I feel like the shadow would cast that way and not block the rest of the bed. I'm gonna put this Be Happy over here in my zinnia bed, and it's so cute. How adorable. So that is all of our planting, and I'm so excited. I'm going to show you guys a couple more garden updates while we're outside. Okay, so I wanted to give you guys a little view of our climbing rose. I planted it directly into the ground, and I'll insert a video here of what it looked like when I got it, and it just started blooming like a week ago. And I train it with these little plant clips. This one's actually come undone, but it did its job. Here's one on the other side, and then it goes all the way up and across here. So it is very, very beautiful. I'm actually about to fertilize it with this stuff. This is Miracle Grow plant food, and it's basically like 1 capful, which is this, to 2 gallons of water, but I'm going to just pour a little bit less on each plant. I want to fertilize each of my hydrangeas here, and then also the climbing rose. And then in here, a few days ago, I planted some zinnias, but I didn't do a good job at keeping them moist because we haven't had a thing on our spigot, sprayer thing. So we just got one, and because ours broke during the winter, we're supposed to take it off during the cold, icy months, but we didn't, and so it broke. That's the second year in a row that happened. So now I'm going to be able to keep this moist, but we do have one little sprout, and then I see one coming up right here. I planted them all in here though, so we should have some sprouts very soon. I'm so excited. The plant food that I used, if you are interested. That is going to be it for today's video. I am so very excited for the gardening season and what is to come. Please let me know if you guys are planting a garden. Let me know what you're planting this year, all the things. I will definitely keep you guys updated. I'm planning on doing like some hobby vlogs, some gardening vlogs, all that kind of stuff. So I will definitely keep you guys updated. But for more like real-time updates, you can go to my TikTok. It's just at BaileyRobertson_ and follow me there because I post a lot on TikTok. But thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I'm so appreciative of you, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.